In the past, we have made stories that acknowledged a certain non-canon aspect in the Naruto story. In the original story, Naruto was not a Jinchuriki, but instead the child of the nine-tailed demon fox who was a troublemaker all of his life. And in this story, Hiruzen, the last surviving of 9 ninja who sealed the demon fox, sent the boy to the city to make a friend, hoping that it might allow him to understand the importance of bonds so that Naruto wouldn't grow up to be like his father, Kurama. I really liked this concept, though I must admit that what Naruto became during its full serialization was better. But it's always interesting to look at the things Kishimoto-sensei wrote in the past, and considering that as each chapter goes along, with Himawari continually being referenced as being like Kurama and Jura, more tailed beast than anything, more and more credence is being given to the switch with me Naruto theory. I wish that theory were a joke, but it's not. And so, because reading the previous chapter made me think what it might be like to be the child of a tailed beast, I thought, why don't I make one based on the one-shot? And so, here we are. I'm going to attempt to write a sort of sequel chapter to the original plot, so I hope you enjoy. But before we begin, let me just say, welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed. So if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. 19XX, Mount Oinari. The village chief waited in his palace. Well, I suppose palace was a big word for what it really was, but it was the only word they used for it. Hiruzen was one of a dying breed, a shinobi of renown. He was skilled in the magical techniques of ninjutsu, and with such techniques, he and his 8 comrades had sealed away the Nine Tails. The cost of this was high, as the shinobi had to burn the entirety of their life force to place 7 seals between each of the 9 tails of the demon fox, with the 8th shinobi consolidating the seals onto a larger around the beast, and calling upon an ancient spirit, a god of death, to pull the beast into its stomach. This took the lives of the 8 shinobi, formerly the 10 braves when Sasuke Sarutobi was still alive, reduced to 9 when the older shinobi passed, leaving his students in the care of his son Hiruzen. Hiruzen was so ready to die. He wished he could have died instead of the others. However, they refused him and told him that this was the way it should be. Hiruzen was the head of the Braves, and only through him could the next generation be taught. But as Hiruzen long thought on the world, the era he found himself in, he began to wonder if it was wise to teach anymore. There was no more need for shinobi in this world. Maybe it was time for that way of life to die out. Or maybe Hiruzen just didn't want to admit that he was scared. Scared to lose more comrades, more students, more friends. It was quite hypocritical for Hiruzen to send Naruto out into the city to make a friend when he himself was too scared to make any. This was the mystery of love. How it so easily could be turned into hate. Love meant opening your heart, and when you opened your heart, you showed trust. And when you showed trust, and that trust was violated, broken, or damaged in any way, it became hard to trust again. But Hiruzen wasn't the only one who had been scarred when trust was broken. It just so happened that Naruto was back in the village again, having brought with him someone he felt Hiruzen should meet. Naruto would proceed to walk in with what appeared to be a drunkard off the street. Hiruzen was quite skeptical to say the least, but he decided to humor him. Naruto then spoke. "This is Hiruzen, chief of the village." Kuroda, the tired artist, would offer a bow. Naruto would smile as he looked at Hiruzen, ready to be congratulated on his job well done. Hiruzen did not do this though. Instead, he took a deep drag from his pipe, holding it in for a moment before letting it back out. "So tell me, how much did Naruto pay for you to come here?" "Hey," Naruto began before Kuroda placed a hand on his shoulder. "More than you can imagine." "I can't imagine Naruto having much of anything to offer you," Hiruzen said. "He has quite a lot actually. But the thing he gave me that meant the most was trust." Hiruzen raised an eye. "Oh? Tell me more." "You probably don't know me, but I'm currently the semi-active chairman of the Cultural Advancement Committee." Hiruzen began to stroke his chin as he thought. "You know, now that you mention it, your name does sound familiar." Kuroda continued. "I'm an artist, and I had an apprentice named Takashi. Together we were tasked with restoring a painting called Symbol, which was the last painting of one of my comrades and rivals, Saburo. While we were restoring it, Takashi was murdered and the painting was stolen. The police blamed Naruto, but I could tell by looking in his eyes that he was innocent. And so, strangely, I was compelled to take Naruto's place. However, that also meant you would need to take his punishment if Naruto wasn't proven innocent, Hiruzen said. Kuroda nodded. I trusted Naruto, and because of that, Naruto trusted me. Using those fox demon-y powers of his, he discovered that the culprits were the police force that had been attempting to protect me in that painting. He solved the case on his own and won me back my freedom. I was certain he'd run away, but he didn't. He stuck around and persevered, helping me discover a part of myself that I thought died a long time ago. Not to mention, the kid is hilarious when he drinks. Hiruzen raised his brow. Naruto, you were drinking? Naruto scratched the back of his head. Only a little, the soft stuff. You know the rules, no drinking until you're 21. Naruto lowered his head. Hiruzen sighed. That being said, you did complete the test I gave you. You made a friend. You are free to return to the village as you need. Thanks, old man, but I think I'd rather go back to the city. I don't think that's wise, Hiruzen said. You may have been fine to visit it for a week or so, but there's no way I can keep you up there much longer than that, and I won't feel right letting you sleep on the streets. But old man, there are so many people there, and I'm sure I could find more friends. Hiruzen waved him down. I understand you want that, Naruto, but you can go about making more friends here. Naruto looked away. I can't do that, and you know it. Nobody wants to be friends with a kid with such a bad rep as me. Hiruzen clasped his fingers and propped his chin upon them. Honestly, Naruto was right. To some degree, Hiruzen began to worry that if Naruto came back to the village, it might undo all the progress he'd made. But what could he do? He just as equally couldn't let Naruto starve to death on the streets. That's when Kuroda spoke up. Why don't you let him live with me? Hiruzen looked up, as did Naruto with a smile. Yeah, that's a great idea. You are kind to offer, but Naruto is but a child. He needs a more responsible role model. I mean, you did let him drink. I don't want him becoming an alcoholic before even turning 18. Kuroda looked at Naruto for a moment before returning his gaze to Hiruzen. What if I swear off the stuff? Hiruzen's brow raised. You mean quit? Cold turkey, Kuroda said. Honestly, Naruto's the first person since Takashi to actually give me hope for mankind, even if the boy is a demon. The city's large and full of a lot of hateful people, but I feel as though this is exactly what the people need, especially since that pandemic that saw so many people perish. If this kid can put smiles back on faces, then maybe, just maybe it's worth it. And if quitting drinking is what's required for me to help make it happen, then I'd be more than willing to do so. Hiruzen began to smile. Perhaps I was wrong about you, Mr. Kuroda. Okay, fine. If you promise to stop drinking and are willing to help house Naruto, I will approve of Naruto staying in the city. Naruto jumped up and down with excitement, rushing to the chief to hug him. Thank you so much, Grandpa, thank you. At first, Hiruzen was shocked by the affectionate display, but all the same, he welcomed it with a warm smile. You should thank your new friend, Kuroda-san. He's the one who offered you a place and is making sacrifices for you. Naruto got up and ran to hug Kuroda as well. Hiruzen then spoke. I assume you will ensure that Naruto is cared for properly, not just fed and given housing, but also having him attend school. Kuroda nodded his head. Yes, sir. Be certain that when he finishes his semesters, you send me his report cards. I need to have some inkling as to how he's developing. Kuroda nodded once more. Of course. Hiruzen then smiled again. Thank you for this. Despite the trouble he causes, he has a genuinely good heart, and he seems to just need a break. Don't we all, Kuroda said. Naruto gave me one, so it's only fair I return the favor. Well, if there's nothing else for you to speak with me about, then you're free to go when you desire. And with that, the meeting was over. Naruto finally got to return to the house with Kuroda. Only a few bags were packed. There wasn't much Naruto had at his home, but it was pretty much everything he needed. I'm gonna give you Takashi's room, Kuroda said. At the mentioning of the name, Naruto's heart almost seized. I don't know. I don't think I can take it, he said. Kuroda put a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Takashi would have wanted it for you. He was a kind fellow, and I know he wouldn't mind it in the least. And so Kuroda got Naruto set up in his room. From there, they began the enrollment process to get Naruto into a good school. Naruto was allowed 1 week to acclimate to his new surroundings. Honestly though, he was more excited than anything, and so he used that week to go exploring, hoping to find more people worth knowing. he began to develop a sort of extra sense for where everything in the city was. Every day he was astounded by how different each building was from the ones on Mount Oinari. Eventually he began to attend school, but daydreaming got him in trouble. "You gotta start paying more attention, Naruto," Kuroda said. "I know you're excited and I can hardly blame you. I was like you once, but if you don't work for it, you can't stay with me. Your village chief already said so." But really, he was just excited for the weekends, because then he could get back to exploring and looking for friends. As he roamed the street one day, that's when he saw someone mysterious in the alleyway. His curiosity piqued and he decided to follow that person a little deeper. Naruto drew closer. "Hey, who are you?" he asked with a smile, as if expecting to make a new friend. "Do you always ask such a thing to random people you meet in alleyways?" the man asked. "Shouldn't I?" Naruto asked. "You're quite naive," the man said. "But alas, it makes my job a little easier." The man turned around to look at Naruto, his eyes a deep blood red. "Not exactly what we're looking for, but possibly very useful," the man said. With that, 2 more people jumped down from the buildings above, grabbing Naruto. "Hey, what are you doing?" The man drew closer, touching his hand to Naruto's forehead. "Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's got the same energy signature of that demon fox. Turn him around." They turned Naruto around and pulled his collar down. "What are you doing?" Naruto demanded to know. "Just a little, brain surgery. Nothing too harsh. Just sit still or you might go blind," he said. Naruto's eyes widened. From the man's hand came a large syringe that whirred as it drew closer to the back of Naruto's head. A moment later, though, another figure leapt from the rooftops. This figure was far smaller, but at the same time it was fast and strong. The fist of the boy struck the man in the cheek and knocked him against the wall. As one of the other men came at the boy, letting Naruto go, the boy ducked under an attack and punched so hard that his fist cut clean through the man's abdomen, exposing blood mixed with wiring. Naruto took this chance to escape. It was then that the boy held out his hand and released what seemed to be a flame. It lit the third man up. The man screamed as his flesh was eaten away to expose underneath a metallic frame holding wires mixed with organs. The first man that he punched through leapt away to the top of the nearest building. "You haven't seen the last of us, Karakuri boy." The man disappeared. Naruto just sort of stood there, having seen more death and gore on this day than he needed in a whole lifetime. The boy drew closer and offered a hand to Naruto to help him up, only for Naruto to panic and try and crawl away. "Stop, Kiru," another smaller voice shouted. "You've already traumatized the boy. Give him space." The boy, now identified as Kiru, pulled back and looked down. "Sorry, Ken." Naruto then noticed a little mouse in front of him. The mouse turned to speak to Naruto. "Sorry about my partner. He's a little dull in everything but combat. The name's Ken. I'm an officer of the Defense Agency and overseer of the 14th Division Platoon 4, Karakuri Unit." "Karakuri?" Naruto questioned. "Yeah, mechanism. Androids. Surely you've heard of them." Naruto shook his head. "Well, I'd love to lore dump you, but we have a criminal to catch. Kiru, after him." Ken crawled up on Kiru's shoulder as the boy, his cybernetic arm exposed to Naruto, waved with a smile before leaving. Naruto was left in shock as he watched them go. How long he sat there just processing everything he didn't know. But as he finally came back to himself, he looked over the remains of the 2 men that Kiru had killed. Each of them possessed metallic bones and wiring. They were half robot, half organic. He'd never seen anything like it. Getting up, he began to run home to Kuroda-san, fearing that if he lingered any longer, these corpses might stand back up and attempt to kill him. Rushing home, he closed the door and locked it, only for Kuroda to ask what in the world was going on. Naruto spoke. I don't know, but I just got attacked by a bunch of robot guys with human guts. They said I was a demon fox and they were gonna do brain surgery on me. Then somebody from Karakuri's squad rescued me. He had a talking mouse." Kuroda sighed and spoke. "I assumed you knew already." "Knew what?" "Send you to school, give you books, and you don't learn a thing. Come in and I'll explain." Kuroda brought Naruto to the kitchen table. "A good few years ago, probably about the time that you were born, there was an illness, a disease that was spreading across the country. So many people were killed by it. In an attempt to help end not only this pandemic, but all other forms of disease, the Ministry of Health began developing a new type of artificial vertebra that, when implanted into a human being, would give them control over that person's body and immune system to begin reprogramming the body to defend itself under certain types of criteria. It never caught on. because the patent was bought out by the military to begin use as a weapon, as it seemed to have those kinds of applications. Such people were called androids, and were slowly used in tests as human weapons to surpass anything mankind had built up to that point. But just as any other time this sort of thing has happened, in literally any story you can imagine, it all went wrong. Androids began to go AWOL, and slowly began doing horrendous stuff for just their benefit, and now a far tighter leash is placed on them. Likely you were rescued by one of those tight-leashed androids. I don't know why they want you, but whatever it was, I'm sure it's over with now. Despite saying these words and Naruto accepting them, Kuroda knew that Naruto was still nervous, and so he went to make him some tea. As Naruto drank the tea, there was a knock on the door. Kuroda opened it up to see a boy and a mouse. "Officer Ken of Division 14, may we come in?" "Is there a reason, officer?" Kuroda asked. Naruto, by this time, was already standing up. "Yeah, that boy," the mouse said, pointing to Naruto. "How did you find me?" Naruto asked. "Surveillance cameras are all around the city. All we had to do is follow your trail. Not to mention, you have a previous record of charges dropped for murder, so it's actually quite easy." At the mention of these things, Kuroda knew that it was about to get real, so he just let them in, hoping cooperation would keep them out of trouble. "I swear, boy," Kuroda said to Naruto, "wherever you go, police aren't far." Kiryu and Ken entered the domicile. Sitting at the table, Naruto spoke to them. "Did you catch him?" he asked. Ken looked at Kiryu and shook his head. "Sadly, no. He got away." Naruto seemed nervous now. "Don't worry though, we're not gonna let him get you," Ken said. "We are here to guard you, but while we do so, we need to know why he wanted you in the first place." Naruto looked at Kuroda. "I need more tea." As Naruto explained his life story to the others, they began to nod their heads. "So who is this guy, and why is he after me?" "Well, it seems that it has something to do with your demon fox lineage. It's possible he's trying to create a new kind of android, one with technological and magical powers. By the sounds of it, it sounded like he was trying to implant you with a new type of karakuri." "Who is this guy?" Kuroda asked. "His name is Weasel. At least, that's what we call him. He's a black market arms dealer who's had his toes dipped into special forces for a time." "Isn't Japan supposed to be non-aggressive due to the agreement at the end of World War II?" Kuroda asked. Ken nodded. "Yeah, we're supposed to only have the JSDF, but do you expect that's all we have? Karakuri unit exists for a reason, and self-defense force is just a pretty rephrasing for we have a military, but we won't call it that so it doesn't break any international agreements." "Oh," was all Kuroda could say. Today was wild, and he was starting to feel like he needed a drink again. "So, this Weasel guy, he wants to turn me into an android?" "That's what I assume. However, we're hoping to raid his base soon." "How soon?" Naruto asked. "Well, we're trying to get his location currently, but we are currently tracking him. I'd say this time tomorrow he'll be caught." Naruto let out a sigh of relief. "Good. Until then, we're gonna protect you," Ken said. With the knowledge that such powerful fighters would be there, Naruto's heart was set at ease a little. However, as the night passed, Naruto still had a hard time sleeping. He was just thinking about why they might want him. He couldn't explain it, but in the very pit of his stomach, he had this feeling, like something bad was about to happen. An uneasiness that Kiryu told him should pass. "It's just nerves. You experienced something harsh today, and your body's still in self-preservation mode. You'll be fine. You just need to relax," he said. "If you're still scared that someone might break into your room, I can watch over you when you sleep." Naruto shook his head vehemently. "No, thank you. Good night then." The next day, Naruto was up bright and early. Having breakfast, he noticed that Ken and Kiryu were still here. "Oh, are you two not going to bust that guy?" Naruto asked. "Us?" Ken asked. "Nah, we're on guard detail. We're going to be your personal bodyguards until we get word that that guy's caught." "We got Koten on the job," Kiryu said. "Koten is even more experienced than I am. Stronger, too. If I can't bring Weasel down, Koten can. So for today, let's just enjoy our time. You got any video games or movies you want to watch to keep your mind off your troubles?" Kiryu asked. "I'm really new here," Naruto said. "I only moved to the city a little over 2 weeks back. I didn't have much to begin with, and I haven't had time to accumulate anything more." "I do have some board games," Kuroda said as he continued scrambling eggs. "Me and Takashi used to play some of those games all the time, though I don't know how many games we have that are for more than 2 players. You guys like Battleship?" Before anyone could answer it, Kiryu's cell phone rang. Pulling out the flip phone, he answered it. "Kiryu here." "Hey Kiryu, it's Koten." "What's up, Koten? You nabbed that guy yet?" "Sadly, no," Koten said. "He seemed to have caught wind of us a little earlier and split." "Oh, that's a shame," Kiryu said. The moment this negative answer was heard, Naruto's heart dropped. That being said, I think you need to come to the site and bring that demon fox kid with you. We might need to interview him. With the new information we've acquired, we need someone to help us interpret it and find a motive. Think you can do that? Koten asked. Yeah, I'll bring him down. I'll see you later then. Bye. Bye. Kiru hung up the phone. Naruto, sitting on the edge of his seat, spoke. Don't keep me in suspense. They didn't catch him, Kiru said, but not all hope is lost. They found a treasure trove of information that might see Weasel captured soon, but we need someone to help us make sense of everything. Would you be willing to come down to the site to see if anything jumps out at you? Naruto seemed nervous. You don't have to do it, kid, Kuroda said. You've been through enough. Maybe it's time to let the police do their jobs. Naruto listened to everything Kuroda said. It's true. This is our job, Ken said. You don't have to do it, Naruto, but it will help our investigation if you can come up with any possible leads. Speed the process along. Either way will protect you. I think I'll go down with you, Naruto said. Are you sure? Kiru asked. Well, you already told that guy you'd bring me, so what's the point in chickening out now? Naruto asked. Kiru smiled. Then let's go. The warehouse was large and near the wharf. It seemed that this is where Weasel sent and received shipments of black market goods. Within, Naruto found many officers, as well as Karakuri squad androids helping out. Koten went to Kiru and Naruto. Glad you could join us. Let me introduce you to Naruto, Kiru said. Koten looked down. Pleasure to meet you, Naruto, the man said, extending his hand. Naruto took it and shook it. Let me show you to where we're all set up, Koten said. He led them to a room where many stacks of papers were. It all seemed to be shipping invoices and places where they were being shipped to. Wow, with all this info, not only will we nab Weasel, his whole operation will be flushed, Kiru said. Yeah, but we need to figure out where he's headed. Maybe Naruto can offer some insight. If we can find out what his plan was that he was willing to sacrifice all this for, maybe we might be able to anticipate where he's going and what he'll do next, stopping him before he gets the chance to do anything. Naruto began to go over it. He did this for quite some time, many minutes, before speaking. I don't know what I'm looking for. None of this makes sense to... Naruto abruptly stopped before looking closer at a piece of paper. Holy crap, he said. What is it? Koten asked. I know what he wants. What is it? Kiru asked. My father. How do you know that? Koten asked. This piece of paper here. It marks Mount Oinari. That's where I came from. That's where the 9 shinobi fought the Ninetales, my father. And if this guy wants me, then he's going after my village. And I think that's because he wants the Ninetales. I mean, yesterday, Ken told me that he thought he was working on something that mixes magic with technology. What better way could he do it than to find the Ninetales? Koten looked at Kiru and everyone else. I think we need to contact Chief Sarutobi. Sarutobi lay on the ground. I'll never tell you where to find the Ninetales, he said. Standing above him was a man with long black hair and blood-red eyes. Are you so certain about that? He asked. Snapping his fingers, he called on his men to open a door. From the outside, another android moved forward, pushing a boy in. Let me go, he demanded. Konohamaru, Hiruzen shouted. Let him go. Weasel, never taking his eyes from the chief, put the syringe into the boy's neck. Konohamaru let out a cry of pain and almost fell unconscious, but the tight grip of Weasel kept him up. Stop, Hiruzen demanded. Weasel then spoke. Well, whether I stop and let him go is entirely up to you, Chief. Tell me where the Ninetales is, or we'll kill this child here and now, and leave you here to rot with the body while we take whatever we want from your study. We'll have what we want, whether you give it to us or not. The only difference is that the boy will live or die. So tell me what I want to know. Where is the Ninetales? Hiruzen, looking into Konohamaru's crying eyes, spoke. On the outskirts of the village, on the peak of the northern mountain, there's a monument. Inside of it, there's a box that contains a mask. If you use the mask to summon the death spirit, you can free the Ninetales. Weasel smiled. Good. Now, was that so hard? Let Kono go, Hiruzen said. We will. Don't worry. After we validate that everything you said is true. Putting a boot into Hiruzen's face, Weasel walked out, Konohamaru in tow. No more than an hour later, Naruto showed up. Old man, he cried out as he ran over. Are you all right? He asked. Hiruzen opened his eyes when he heard Naruto's voice. No. He managed to sit up with Naruto's help. Where are you hurt? I'll make them pay. Naruto, I told them where to find the Ninetales. I'm sorry. I failed you, the village, and my friends. Naruto shook his head. No, you didn't. You didn't fail anyone. Hiruzen then spoke. Please, I need you to get Konohamaru back. They took him. I can't lose him. Naruto nodded. I'll bring him back. Tell me where to go. At the top of the mountain, they found what looked to be a small temple. Within the temple, they found the box. The mask of the Shinigami. It's said that the 8 most powerful shinobi in the world gave their lives to defeat the Nine-Tails. And now we set it free, using the grandchild of the last remaining shinobi. Open the scroll. One of Weasel's men opened the scroll, showing the spell the shinobi used to summon the spirit. Using his control over Konohamaru's karakuri, he forced the child to wear the mask and perform the hand signs. Once the jutsu was complete and the spirit appeared, Weasel forced Konohamaru to do the unthinkable. He pulled a knife. Konohamaru looked at the knife with wide eyes. A moment later, Konohamaru plunged the blade into his own stomach. Ripping it to the side like a disgraced samurai, the Shinigami did the same. With this, the spirits within the Shinigami were freed, including the Nine-Tails. Its massive size began to bring the building down upon them. Weasel and his men fled the building to save their lives. Once they were out, they looked back to see the Nine-Tails in its full glory. Weasel smiled. Buy me time, he said to the 3 as he made his way up the Nine-Tails' back. Once he got high enough, he injected a karakuri into Kurama's spine. As the Karakuri squad and Naruto made their way to the mountain, they saw the giant form of the Nine-Tails appear. They were too late. Rushing closer, they would be stalled by the 3 men that Weasel had sent to them. Koten took on 2 of them as Kiru took on the 3rd. Ken told Naruto to keep back, but he knew he had to do something. As soon as he saw an opening, he pushed past them all and began running toward the Nine-Tails. Placing a fish cake on his head, Naruto spoke. Demon Fox no Jutsu! Taking on his true form as a Nine-Tails himself, he rushed closer to Kurama. Dad, stop, he shouted. We don't need to kill them. Kurama looked down at Naruto for a moment, but the look in his eye was not one of understanding or care. It was robotic and controlled. Opening its mouth, it shot an energy blast down at him. Naruto instinctively raised a barrier to protect himself, but it wasn't anything compared to the attack, and it still knocked him back. As he lay there unconscious, Ken began slapping him, trying to wake him up. Hey, wake up, Fox Boy! Your dad's about to wreck the place! Wake up! He slapped Naruto. Naruto pulled back to reality. Seeing Kurama walking closer to the village, Naruto began to rush down to him. As he did, he passed by Kiru, who called out for Naruto to stop. But before he could chase after, Koten grabbed his shoulder. We've got bigger fish to fry, he said, pointing toward the mountain where Weasel still stood. The duo rushed up to face him, only to see him standing over the body of Konohamaru. You killed him, Kiru said. I suppose I did, but whatever, just one person, easily replaceable. Kiru, hearing that, nearly lost himself, but Koten stopped him. No, we'll take him together. Don't let him under your skin. If you do, you'll get yourself killed. Keep a level head. Justice awaits, but it can only be claimed by those who have enough control not to fumble it. Kiru nodded. The 2 went in to attack Weasel, but Weasel revealed himself. He was a transformation-type android. His karakuri specifically designed to alter his body in a way that made him unrecognizable. Taking on a hulking form of pure muscle and mechanics, he began to attack. Each of his fists let off fiery explosions as they collided with the ground, threatening to blow them away. All the while, Naruto ran toward the Nine-Tails. How do we stop it? Naruto asked. He's so much faster than us. I don't think we can, fella, Ken said. Only thing we can do is prepare for the worst and try to stop it when it reaches its target. Back at the mountain, as Kiru and Koten continued to battle, it became obvious very quickly that they weren't on par with Weasel. As his explosive punches kept coming, Koten was knocked back. Kiru called out to him. Koten then spoke. We can't beat him head on, but maybe we don't have to, he said. Koten then pulled something from his mechanical arm and threw it to Kiru. As Kiru took it, he saw that it was a syringe filled with methane. Of course, Kiru thought. He had one built into his arm too. He'd nearly forgotten. He only had one chance for this, but maybe that's why he was the one left standing. Ripping the fake flesh away from his legs, he revealed them to be augmented as well. He rushed at Weasel, and as Weasel attempted to punch him, Kiru jumped over the attack and leapt onto his back, where he proceeded to put both his own and Koten's syringes filled with methane into Weasel. Jumping off, he attempted to make distance. Weasel turned around. I don't know what you just stuck me with, but any poison in my system, my nanomachines can dismantle. Suddenly, there was an unintentional buff of flames from Weasel's knuckles. Kiru smiled. We'll see about that. Suddenly, the methane ignited and the expansion of gases caused Weasel's body to rupture in a flaming explosion. As what was left of Weasel fell to the ground, the Nine-Tails slowed itself to a standstill. He gripped at his head and let out a roar. Naruto, still in his fox form, caught up and began to run up the beast's back until he got over his head. He dropped down on its snout. "Dad, please stop!" The Ninetales opened its eyes and looked at Naruto. "Please, Dad, spare these people." The Ninetales' gaze showed nothing but contempt. The beast swiped Naruto and Ken off of him. Hitting the ground, the Ninetales turned to face Naruto.
"You would defend these creatures. They invade our land, believe that they have the right to farm it, believe that they deserve to live here more than I."
"They're nice, Dad," Naruto said as he sat up. "You just gotta give them a chance. Trust me, I know." Kurama scoffed.
"You don't know anything. If you would throw in with these creatures, then you're no better than they are. And if you're not as bad as they are, then you're too stupid to be taught any better."
"Please, Dad, I don't want to fight you."
"Then lay down and die,"
Kurama said. "Damn, harsh, Dad," Ken said. Naruto put Ken down. "Run. This is between me and him." "No, it's between him and all of us. Friends don't run out on each other," Ken said. "Whatever happens, I'm with you until the end." Naruto began to tear up before blinking away his tears into a smile of determination. Together, he and Ken went about attacking the Ninetales, unaware that they were being watched. Despite their best efforts, and despite knowing they would lose, they attacked the Ninetales anyway, to no effect. Kurama looked down at them.
"Pathetic. I hate that I fathered something so useless,"
Kurama said. With a flick of his toe, Kurama sent Naruto flying through many trees. As he laid there, he was left unconscious one more. However, this time, it wasn't Ken that woke him up. Instead, it was the spirits of the 8 shinobi that had also been trapped within the Shinigami. They spoke.
"Naruto, you have proven to us that you are filled with honor and valor. Despite knowing you would lose, you still opposed your father to defend the village we so love. And so, we will aid you in combat."
The spirits then began to fill Naruto. As he stood, he held within them their memories, their powers, and their abilities. Naruto knew what he had to do. As he stood there, he spoke. "Dad!" The Ninetales looked down at Naruto. The small fox smiled at his father as he began to weave hand signs. Kurama immediately recognized them.
"No!"
He began charging at Naruto, his tails flailing wildly as if to strike his child. But before he could harm Naruto, the Shinigami appeared. 7 chains flew out from the Shinigami and wrapped through the separations of its tails before an 8th chain wrapped around the beast's torso. Kurama roared and screamed, "No!" The Shinigami began to pull the Ninetales into it. As the Ninetales consumed it, its hand reached down into Naruto. He knew what it was looking for. He closed his eyes and prepared for the end. Kiru watched as the Ninetales was sealed up. He ran down after Naruto to help him, only to find him laying there, Ken on the fox's chest, trying to wake him up. "Come on, fella, speak to me. You gotta open your eyes, please." Kiru knelt down. "What happened?" Ken looked at Kiru with tears in his eyes. "Kid, he ain't waking up." Kiru moved Ken from Naruto's chest and put his mechanical arm on Naruto. He began to use the hand's concussion to try to restart his heart, but nothing seemed to work. Eventually, Kiru stopped, his eyes beginning to tear. "He's gone." Ken hugged up to Kiru as the two mourned. Yet suddenly, Naruto took a deep, panicked breath. The two grabbed Naruto. "You're okay. You're okay," Kiru said. "What happened to you, kid?" Ken asked. Naruto spoke. "I used the Reaper Death Seal, and the Shinigami wanted to take my soul, but before it did, the other 8 souls of the shinobi offered themselves up in exchange, saying that I was the one destined to protect this village in their place." Kiru and Ken hugged Naruto. "We are just glad you're all right." And from there, peace returned. The sad news of Konohamaru's death reached Hiruzen, who mourned. However, Naruto offered himself as Hiruzen's grandson instead, saying that Hiruzen had lost a grandchild and Naruto had lost a father. It was only natural. "I've made friends with so many people, but the one I really needed to make friends with all along was you," he said. And from there, Naruto would desire to return to the village to train with Hiruzen, to reform the shinobi order. He invited Kuroda-san to live with them, but Kuroda said that he thought he'd rather stay in the city and finally get back to drinking. But he did promise to keep in touch. As for Kiru and Ken, they also returned to the city, where they got a promotion for a job well done. To this day, they still visit Naruto to have some fun, but the threat of the androids still exists. Despite this, Naruto would tell them that if they ever needed his help, he'd be there in a flash. And as he watched them leave, Hiruzen spoke. "You've certainly made many friends, Naruto." Naruto smiled. "I know. and I'm only getting started. And that's where I want to call it. As I'm sure you know, Sasuke didn't really originate in Naruto either. He actually originated in another one-shot manga by Kishimoto-sensei called Karakuri. I felt that since we were doing something with one of the one-shots, that maybe we might do a little bit of both. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I feel like I nailed the spirit of the one-shots, but why don't you tell me how I did? Tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when our next videos drop. And while you wait for those, check out these other videos from our channel. Until next time, peace out.